you've ever adopted a dog from a shelter, you know sometimes you don't get the full story about why they're there or their previous family.
So that's why a few dog owners jumped at the chance when psychic and medium Jodi Livon offered to read their animals. TCL's Kelly Hansen takes us to the Humane Society in Golden Valley to check it out.
You are sweet. You are really sweet, aren't you? Yeah, you're a little misunderstood.
If you're wondering how Jodi Livon not only works with people, but also animals, here is her answer.
Because it's all the same, it's pictures. You see pictures in your head and you interpret them. If I'm getting a feeling of fear, I know that animal is feeling fear. It's the exact same, but it's more pure.
There's a lot of mystery in what we do.
Carrie Libra works here at the Humane Society and says a lot of the animals they find homes for come from all parts of the country.
A lot of the animals that come through here, is it more often than not you don't know their background?
Yep, so a lot of our animals come in as strays, so we don't know anything about them.
He's very childlike. This dog will always be very childlike. And this dog thinks he's small. So he thinks that he can sit on a lap and that he's a small dog. And that's a personality thing. Have you noticed that about your...
Yes.
Tell me his name?
Horton.
Horton.
Horton's new family adopted him from the Humane Society just over a year ago, and they knew nothing about his past.
They weren't really looking at him. Does that make sense to you? This one, I've met people like this, like, I get what happened to me in my life and I'm moving forward.
You said that sounds pretty accurate. So things she said really resonated with you guys?
Yeah, he's so well-adjusted and socialized, and like she said, he thinks everybody's his friend, and we're just wondering how someone could let him go. You know what I mean? They must have been a great family who raised him.
Then there's Becky and John. They adopted dachshunds Corey and Barry a year and a half ago.
He's showing me pictures about what happened, and he really has he likes women, and he likes older women, if that makes sense to you. So this dog is in communication with the first owner, and I feel like it feels female to me. So
right, we have no history, so we're not sure.
So I feel like the first one crossed over, and they are still talking, and she still wants to be taking care of her. And I see a scarf, so that might be sort of relevant of the person's personality.
From what I understand, their original owner was an older woman.
She's standing between the two of you right now. And she's very, very grateful. And she actually just put her hand on your right shoulder. So if you feel that, she's very, very grateful.
Were these two dogs together with, okay.
They had one owner and she died. And they were brought to the neighbors for several weeks and they couldn't handle both of them, so they brought them to the Humane Society.
The lady that was the owner of these dogs before wanted me to say things to acknowledge, because they wanted it to be acknowledged. She wanted them to be acknowledged, and she wanted to be acknowledged as somebody that was important to them and why they're sometimes lonely. These are beautiful animals, and they're with the exact right people, because you guys are patient and you're kind.
I have goosebumps, I have tears in my eyes. It is very interesting. I looked up information on these animals before inviting them here, and she hit it spot on every time.
And Jodi is here with us now. So Jodi, the first question that I have for you is not only how does this work, but I noticed that you always get little signals, and you mentioned the woman that was standing in between that couple. So how did you know or feel that she was standing there?
Well, when I was bending down to kind of connect with the animals, my nose started to itch, and I'm like, great, now I need a tissue, and they're filming. And it kept happening. I'm like, oh, that's why. And then this beautiful lady appeared, an older woman with a scarf. So the signal I usually get is my nose itches.
Oh,
I liked Bewitched when I was a little girl, and so people from the other side literally grabbed my nose because I would ignore them for so long because I was so tired of somebody pulling my hair or running away with my ponytail things.
Really, I always heard that the saying was somebody's talking about you if your nose itches. Apparently it's dead people are around you.
No, people are talking to you.
Oh, buddy.
To you.
Well, boom.
Okay.
That takes it up a notch. And you mentioned pictures. What do you mean whenever you're talking about seeing pictures?
So pictures start to form on a screen in my head. So I start to see these scenes, and I saw those cute little dogs. I saw one of them, the lighter colored one, in the car, going in the car. So I knew the lady really loved to take that one in the car, and that dog loved to be groomed, where the other one was more shy. And the man that owns that dog now, both of them, they're so much more outgoing. He's being more seen because he doesn't like to be groomed, and the guy doesn't care. So
Yeah.
it's just all good, beautiful.
How helpful is this for the owners of the animals? Because we listened to them a little bit, but afterward, I mean, what was their reaction to all of this?
Oh, they were so grateful because they get those feelings too. Come on, when you love somebody, you know things about them. And so I was really confirming a lot of the things they could sense anyway, and getting more information is important. And one of my favorite parts about doing this whole thing is, A, I love animals. I love reading animals so much. And I love the Animal Humane Society. They do every single thing they can do. See, I get the chills when I talk about this. They do everything they can do to save the animals. They just do. They work with them. They have trainers. They help with their health. They're so wonderful. And as a little girl, I was always bringing animals that I found stray.
Yeah.
So I just love them.
How often when you're out, though, you know, when you're sensing people or people are saying, Jodi, can you do a reading on me? Do you kind of take over with the pets more than the people? Is it generally the people, or are you kind of feeling it just like you would with humans when you're walking by and you see a dog?
I would say because I understand a little bit more about people than pets.
Yeah.
I resonate more with people, those here and on the other side. But when I do readings in my office, people's animals come through. All of a sudden see something jump across. Okay, on the screen in my head.
See that? And you certainly, you know, you'll hear all sorts of different responses. So what do you say to skeptics whenever they see something like this and then they've got more questions? What's your response to them?
I just listen to them and I answer them as honestly as I can.
Yeah.
I don't actually try to prove anything to them or to convince them. I just listen and answer, but it's up to them to understand in their heart what really feels right to them. And most skeptics are just really scared. And if they just would step away from feeling afraid, some of it might make sense. And hey, everybody's going to find out someday, right?
Yeah. And now, if you're at the Animal Humane Society, let me just ask you this personal question. Anybody who goes there, it's tough to not walk out with a new pet. Did you have to resist the urge to like walk out?
I give money so somebody else can have, you know, it is very hard. And they make it so easy to take a pet home.
Yeah. They're so sweet there. Thank you so much, Jodi.
Thanks, Jodi.
And Jodi has an event coming up in August, which includes audience readings, and we posted more information and a link to buy those tickets on our website, twincitieslive.com.